Hello, everyone. Thank you all for those who come, and we are ready to start. Today's presentation will be about data privacy and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is really trendy topic right now, but I would like to present you something which is kind of different perspective on looking at really trendy things. Before we begin, just a short presentation of me. My name is Yashchuk. I'm a project manager at Atwix, and I'm a Magento 2 solution specialist. I've been working with Magento for more than 5 years, all of this time with my dear team at Atwix, and my end goal is definitely to find some really great solutions for the clients, and basically all this journey is towards this end goal. What we will cover today. First of all, let's just imagine that this is an investigation. I decided to understand how data privacy and artificial intelligence can meet. What will it mean in case we introduced as many solutions with artificial intelligence to our store as possible? And that's why I decided to start with really important thing. Understanding the customer's expectation and why they're willing to share their data with us. Because it's really important. In order for those solutions like artificial intelligence, machine learning to work, we need customers' data and a lot of it. That's why some interesting research was questioning different clients from US and UK, what are their motivation to share data online? And the first one is actually really general, still really important. It's if I trust the company, I'm going to share the data with them. And if we think about it, trustworthiness of the brand is really important. It's the key to its success. Still, it's really easy to lose. Another thing here is awareness about what data is going to be used, how it's going to be used, and whether I can just like check it, delete it. And basically, that's the awareness perspective on data. What else? We can see that sometimes the clients are expecting to return some perks and bonuses, like some free goods, in return for sharing their information. We also see that there might be some expectation of having really like different details remembered. And this is exactly me, because I'm usually saving information every single time I'm at really new website to me, and of course I will do it only if I trust that this service gonna protect my data. What else? We can share the information if we expect to receive some like discounts, some free goods. We also expect some personalized rewards tailored to our specific needs. And this is all can be like divided into different categories. So we would say like trustworthiness, awareness, and of course some really interesting like rewards and personalization. Having these expectations covered, how we can meet them, how we can address those expectations. And this is where artificial intelligence can help us, because basically there are different benefits of using AI in Magento, and today I want to cover them and go a bit through the list. So first one, before we go into those, actually I want to state that in my personal opinion, AI is not just like solution, and it's enabling technology, enabling the humans to do better. Some actually mentioned earlier that we will have replacement by AI, like some humans going to be replaced, some jobs. But I do believe that it's not just going to be replacement, it's just a possibility for us to do some things better. Or in some cases, efficiently, because not every single time the humans need to do this job. And first benefit of using AI is definitely a personalization. Every single time somebody just going into our store, we'd wish somebody would go like with a full cart. And we'd have like personalized, really great, tailored purchases. However, not every single time it happens. So AI can help to personalize the experience for your customer, analyze their steps, and to analyze the experience your customer is doing on your store. Here we have a couple of solutions, and of course the first one is AI product recommendation by Adobe, which will be in Magento. We've heard a lot about this one, and I'm really thrilled that we will be able to check it really soon based on the updates from Adobe and Magento teams. And this is the example of how it will be working like in terms of product recommendation, but there is more. We can not only personalize like products, we can also personalize content, emails, basically the message that we are saying to our clients. And this can be done with different third-party extensions such as Nasta, WooAI personalization for styling, and also Chloe AI, which is offer extreme personalization using artificial intelligence. The next benefit of using artificial intelligence is for sales forecasting. And this is the exact example when it's better to do some analysis and calculation by machines instead of just humans. It's just easier and faster in some cases. So why should we still do it by manually if we can do it by machines? We also have a couple of solutions available, which is Salesforce with the Sales Cloud Einstein. And of course, today we've heard a lot about Adobe Analytics and also another Adobe products which can be utilized in Magento really soon in terms of sales forecasting, sales marketing, calculation, and other great stuff with Magento. What else? Safety measurements. Well, one of the main reasons why I decided to look into this like data privacy aspect is that my fear of that it will be compromised. But artificial intelligence can actually help with preventing fraudulent attacks and analyzing different transactions on your store. There are already a couple of solutions which are doing it with the help of artificial intelligence and machine learning by analyzing different transactions and basically checking which transactions can be a threat or not. It also gives you the possibility to step in where needed in order to do those decisions by yourself. And further is also communication. Well, it's really hard to be online 24/7. And there is no need to be, because right now we have so many really interesting solutions which will provide the possibility to answer for you. And this is really important because you are providing different channels for your clients to reach to you, and this is really crucial. What we have in terms of solutions. We have different chatbots, and also we have personal assistants which will not only answer like popular questions, but the key goal in this way would be to have like assistant just like you have in a brick and mortar store. When you answer to your shop and somebody asks you questions, what do you like to have, and basically your preferences. And this way you'll have really guided shopping experience which will more likely result in a converted purchase. And of course, eel pepper not only can be useful, it's also very cute. I really like it. Yeah. And last but definitely not least is search. Sometimes finding the right product can be really like a lottery, and it's really hard to find it. So we should be there for our clients and help them to find this right product. Today we've heard a couple of really interesting talks about the importance of having natural language processing, understanding, and having a smart search. I really encourage you to have not only smart search, but also different type of search. So would be really great to have voice search, image search, where it's relevant, of course, but overall, giving your customers ability to search differently, it's really great for the store, and having those different channels. There are several solutions which are already providing ability to search via voice and also have the possibility have this natural language processing, having the smart search which will understand your client just the way they say. And as for image search, I'm really willing to see more solutions for Magento, but right now the only thing I was able to find is Nest Starter, which is Magento Innovation Lab submission, but I hope there are going to be more in terms of solutions and possible integration and even out-of-the-box possibilities for image search. And having different those solutions with AI. As a result, last year, data has suppressed oil as the world's most valuable asset. And this tells us that actually our climate is changing. The way we work with different solutions and services, the way, basically the things that we value is really changing right now. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. And this brings me to like second part of the presentation, which is more into different possible threats and how we can address them in terms of data. And I want to start with an interesting documentary which was released this summer. And I'm not sure if you've seen it, but if no, I would definitely recommend you to do so. It describes the story about Cambridge Analytica and Facebook scandal when the information was used without the client's consent for really like their own purposes. And interesting case here is basically they were using the information after the clients agreed to share this information via quiz. And of course, it was not like clear or understandable that they're going to be using these details, but this is one example how the information can be exploited and used without your consent and how important it is to protect it. Another example is this application. I'm not sure if it was popular here in Spain, but a lot of us actually got old this summer with the help of this Face app. And I'm not sure if everyone but knows that like what lies behind this application, because basically all of the details which all of the pictures you've shared with them with this application. And I wouldn't say that this is a good thing, because actually they may use it without your additional consent. It can be used for advertisement or any other possible thing. So yeah, this is an example how data can be exploited. And as a result, our clients are not only afraid of like receiving incorrect sizes or not returning some goods which are not right for us. They are really fearing like really serious things that can be like data breaches, exploitation of their information, because they are sharing a lot. And diving into this deeper, we see a lot of different possibilities how the data can be exploited and a lot of reasons why we need to protect this information. Customers' information can be used for facial and voice recognition, and right now, considering that we have so many extensions which are using this data to recognize you, just to log in, this is really crucial. And some interesting cases are, there are cases of profiling customers based on some criteria and giving them different pros and cons based on just their personal details. And of course, there is always like reveal of embarrassing information, financial threats. This is quite regular, but there is more to it. And having those threats just proves that protection of customers and personal data is a fundamental right. This is fundamental right just as any other, and it needs to be protected. And what does it mean, like having those rights? It means that we can rectify our own data. We need to be able to access our own data anytime. We also need to have the ability to be forgotten, and the ability to object to processing some information, just like we have seen with the GDPR, for example. And of course, we have the right to use our own data for our own goods and use. And those fundamental rights are also covered by different laws right now. Of course, GDPR was one of the most popular and it was one of the first one. And we have California Consumer Privacy Act, which is going to be in 2020, and a lot more in different states and countries. So this question is really important and timely. And this is a time for all agencies and all merchants to think whether the data is protected and whether they're ready to comply. And of course, this is an example of how, for example, we can share this information about our clients. And it's really hard to read, so I'm going to just describe you. So, for example, in this case, they was sharing that why they need this data for Google Analytica. And important thing is that they also state for how long it's going to be used. So after 1 year, it's going to expire and it will be not there anymore. And this is the final question I wanted to discover and understand. Having that many possibilities with artificial intelligence, and also such an opposite sides like having different threats and possibilities to exploit this data, I wanted to understand how we can protect our store and use it for the better. So we need to have these questions answered. First, what about the data? And it's really important to understand what personal data are you collecting? Because sometimes the personal data that you are collecting is not the data that you actually need for different purposes. So you also need to understand where is the data stored and basically what are third parties which have the access to that data with services, and whether they are protected as well, because it's your responsibility to know about it. Another question is, what about the processes? You need to draft and roll different techniques and train your team to meet to those standards and know who will be responsible in different cases. Basically, identify those responsibilities. Either it's hosting provider who stores this data, either it's service provider. You need to be aware. And of course, you need to make sure that your software is up to date. And I cannot stress enough this one. And especially with the recent different attacks, even like this summer, and having Magento updated, having your infrastructure checked regularly is really important. And I'm not sure we have a lot of merchants, because sometimes I know that it's not the first case which comes to mind to merchant, but it's definitely one of the first which comes to different agencies and Magento itself. So I would be really glad if you pay attention to this part too. And finally, the final question, what about the customer? If something do happen, you need to understand how you would deal in case data breaches or some different flaws. You also need to understand what are the process of the customers to reach out to you. So getting back to different channels and how the communication is important, you need to have different channels for the customer to reach out to you and make sure that it's clear. And finally, you need to know and you need to update website privacy policy and know that it's readable, because sometimes it's just really hard to read, understand, and usually it leads to different clients getting information like misleading. So it's really important that you keep it up to date and make sure that it's helpful for your clients. And to conclude, the only thing that I want to summarize with is having different technologies, like new technologies, is really great, but sometimes we are not paying attention to really like what's behind it. Therefore, my last update will be here that the protection of personal data is fundamental right, and it should be a priority for every company here and anywhere else. Thank you. Any questions?